and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. As you can see, I took the braids out. I know a lot of people suggested I did that, but I was going to power through it, except that as my hair grew out, the braids got really heavy and I was either going to sleep at night or have the braids in the day. Like, it was a choice. So I made the right one, I think. And I feel amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to go right into this right now because I have a lot to talk about today. It might be a bit long, but let's see how we get on, shall we? First of all, I just want to clear the air on something. When it comes to Harry in the army and him saying that he didn't get any special treatment, again, my commenters came through for me and told me to research that a little bit, that he was given special treatment during his serving in the army, and also his rank and everything was special treatment. Also in Afghanistan, he had to get special protection because there was a price on his head, which is not his fault. But why lie about that? Like, that's what I didn't think. Why would you lie about that? And it's almost like if they sat in this $14 million house or whatever, the two of them, Meghan and Harry, and said, look, let's roll a dice. Let's place some bets here. Either we tell the truth or we tell lies. And the fact that, I don't know if they did some like simple maths calculations, like, okay, let me see, calculator. Even if it's 50-50, we're reaching such a large audience on our platform that even if 50% of us, 15% of us and you believe the lies, it's still a lot of people. He has no proof of anything he's saying. He has no backative, that's a Caribbean word, but he has no backup like for anything he's saying. And I just can't believe they must have sat there and said, let's do a calculation. Thank you so much in the comments. I read all of them. I'm still trying to respond all the time. My son has been under the weather for the last 2 days, so I haven't been able to really go into the comments and respond like I normally do, but I am reading them. And thank you so much for debunking in the comments. You know why? Because the royal family doesn't typically respond. And so I feel like we have to do it for them. Okay, so let's just jump right into the Oprah series because I don't have to do several videos on this. I can just roll it into one because I'm only focused on Harry. So let's go. These days it's hard to tell what's on your mind.
It was a puzzling life. But unfortunately, when I think about my mum, the first thing...
He's talking about Diana being hounded by the press, sorry, and I think I covered that in my last video.
There was no option to leave. Eventually, when I made that decision for my family, I was still told, you can't do this. I was like, well, how bad does it have to get until I am allowed to do this? Well, she was going to end her life.
Really?
It shouldn't have to get to that.
No, it shouldn't have to get to that.
Do I have any regrets? Yeah, my biggest regret is not making more of a stance earlier on in my relationship with my wife and calling out the racism.
Calling out the racism when you did? Sorry, hold on a second.
I did.
You called out the racism, but you still have no proof of it. So how could you really do that? Now he has this way of talking, which is very much like how Meghan talks. And that scares me. It scares me. Anyway, let's continue.
My mother was chased to her death while she was in a relationship with someone that wasn't white. And now look what's happened.
Someone who wasn't white.
You want to talk about history repeating itself? They're not going to stop
I can't
until she
stand
dies.
it. I can't stand the face. I can't stand the expression. I can't.
It's going to be triggering.
Is anyone feeling me on this? Like, what's that
Lose another
about?
woman in my life.
So I covered this in my last video as well. There's no correlation between Meghan and Diana, and there's no correlation between Meghan and Dodi Al-Fayed. And so I'm just gonna, let's just be honest. Like, let's just leave it at that. Because I said,
Like, the list is growing. And it all comes back to the same people, the same business model, the same industry.
The same boobies.
William and I, well, it was like that for me, so it's going to be like that for you. doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. It's something called tradition, which is so attractive about the monarchy in some ways, is the idea of upholding tradition. So to say that it doesn't make sense, this is complete brainwashing. Like that's not how he grew up. He grew up learning that tradition is to be upheld, unless he's appealing to like the woke and, you know, the anti this and anti that and anti everything. And it's not healthy. It's really not healthy, because I come from a culture, you come from a culture, and that what he's talking about is disrespecting his culture. So this is why I take issue with it, because even here in a different country, I'm upholding my culture with my son. So I feel very disgusted by this right now. And also, like, the way he's going on, exactly acting like Meghan, it would be like if my husband it would be like if my husband started talking in a Bajan accent to me. If he actually started doing that with me, I would literally cringe and move to Mars. Shout out to Elon Musk. I may need to call you.
George, what are you doing?
I hear cutting coconut, woman.
There are no coconuts on that tree, George.
What you say?
Why are you speaking like
Damn
that?
coconut.
Why are you speaking in that accent?
Because you know, me like you so much. Me have to copy you, sir. Me get a brainwash. Me get a brainwash from a Caribbean lady. Get a little rubber from me, sir.
Help me, help me, help me. If you're watching this, ever life, please save a space for me in Mars, because if my husband starts speaking to me like this, let's go.
Everybody else has to go through the same thing that you.
Watch Miss Chicken Legs come in here now on the beach.
I've learned more about myself in the last 4 years than I have in the 32 years before that.
But just let me say something else.
And I have my wife to thank for that.
He could have suffered a lot more, I would think. I'm sure you didn't suffer bullying, you know? I'm sure you didn't. You're the Prince of England. Like, the only person gonna bully you is like the heir to the throne of Narnia, for example. So, I don't know if you met him. A very good friend of mine, the heir to the throne of Narnia. Totally exists. Totally real person. The hell?
My wife to thank for that.
You have your wife to thank for being your groomer. You have Stockholm syndrome.
And I've never felt her presence more as I have done over the last year.
But that's so your choice, because that was your choice to block that out of your mind. You said it yourself. You didn't want to think about her. Huh? I don't think that this California made that possible for you. I'm sorry I'm being so hard on him, and I really don't understand a lot of what he's saying, because it's like new mental health jargon, pseudoscience stuff. So I'm just talking from like my personal experience. That's all I can do. And I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but you don't choose what happens to you in life sometimes, but you choose how you handle it. And if you have all the best help in the world, you definitely have a lot of choices.
I wish you could have met Meghan. I wish she was a...
You wish you could have met Meghan?
I got a photo up in his nursery, and it was one of the first words that he said, apart from Mama, Papa. It was then Grandma Diana.
I thought it was crocodile. Hold on a minute.
What was his first word?
Crocodile.
Crocodile!
3 syllables.
That's a big word.
Huh? Grandma Diana was the first words he said? You lie. So who did you lie to? Because James Corden, okay, so I watched that bus crawl that he did with James Corden in LA, and I also made a video on it, a couple videos on that. But anyhow, he said in that crocodile, and he was very proud of it. He said, yep, 3 syllables. He's a genius, obviously. My wife's a genius. I mean, hello. Like, who seriously sits down and thinks that they can just say whatever they want and lie? I mean, I know she does, but now he thinks so too? Like, he has no moral fiber. He didn't know right and wrong. He grew up with the best education that money could buy and status could buy, and he still does not know right from wrong? This is embarrassing. What a waste of taxpayer money to send him to good schools.
Now I'm on my way to having healed that part of my life, those younger years, and having a clarity of perspective that I never ever thought that I would get.
Like, who told him he was broken is the thing. I mean, I know who told him. But, like, I mean, I don't know him personally. And I don't know why people sometimes in the comments say, you don't know them. You talk about people you don't know all the time because you deal, or at least I deal with what is being presented to me. And at least a lot has been presented about Harry over the years, more than, like, any old person that is somebody else's problem that they're talking about. You're probably not going to know that person as a normal civilian. But this is like Harry, Prince Harry, who we've seen grown up in the public eye. I don't know who told him he was so broken besides Meghan, but he needs to stop talking about this. I'm on my path to healing. I mean, Demi Lovato.
I'm still the person that I was, but I'm just a better version of that.
Is it a thing it's a phase that's going on right now where people are just talking about on my way to healing, but yet I'm going to advise everybody. I'm on my way, but I'm going to advise everybody how to heal.
Started a new life to maintain your sanity and well-being for your family. Do you still feel control?
He literally started a new life to maintain his sanity. Think about that phrase. How many of us could just start a new life to maintain our sanity? Like, for those of you who don't like your neighbors and they're driving you crazy, or somebody in your family or whatever is driving you crazy, how many of you can just pick up with a bank account and just roll out? Like, how many of you can do that? And this is what she's saying, and he's like, yeah. Yeah, pretty much what I did. Was so scared about doing it though. Scared to death of doing it.
Making this move was really scary.
Do I transfer the money? Do I not transfer the money? Do I take these? By the way, he has a 01 visa, which is a special visa for people who have specialized skills, like scientists. There are scientists waiting in line who have applied for this visa, who are waiting for their application to be approved so they can come to the United States and cure cancer and stuff. And he got that. He was given that because his specialized skill was being Prince Harry.
They're desperately trying to control the narrative because they know that if they lose it, then the truth will come out.
What is the truth? No, can you tell me the truth that you have that's going to come out? So you have something? I wonder if he has evidence, because I find it very strange that everyone's begging for some kind of context and he's not giving it, but yet he's saying they're afraid the truth will come out. Is it a threat? Is he threatening the royal family? Is he trying to get something from them that he has to keep threatening them like this? And every Oprah appearance is another threat? Wow.
Did I expect
Scared.
to find ourselves in this situation so quickly? No. I think we've done a really good job. And I have no regrets. It's incredibly sad, but I have no regrets at all.
It's incredibly sad. Like, he's not the best, like, brain to come out of United Kingdom. It was scary, but I did it. But it's sad. But I have no regrets. That's just not, that, but that's not mental illness. That's just low IQ.
How are you?
I'm now more comfortable.
Raising the future. Is that what that shirt said? I didn't realize that's what that shirt said, because I was trying to see, because I saw some photos of it, but I never like actually saw what it said, and I thought it might have said raising the culture. But it does. Because I have a lot of words I want to say in Bajan, but they're in my head and I'm not going to say them, okay? But
I was like, well, how bad does it have to get until I am allowed to do this? Where she was going to end her life.
But that's her choice. Listen.
It shouldn't have to get to that.
I don't understand this thing. Okay, let me address this now. Here's how I feel. She was going to end her life when she was pregnant. That's a really hard story to sell to somebody who has had a child. And there's something called postpartum depression, obviously, but prepartum depression is quite rare. Look it up. But he hasn't even said that. But to be wanting to end your life while you're carrying your child, like is very rare, and it's a hard story to sell. And again, when you don't give any evidence that she was hounded, she was not hounded. She even herself complained that she was kept indoors and that they didn't let her do everything that she wanted to do. So where was she hounded? And if you think about it, I can understand why they kept her indoors, because every time they let her out to do a cutting of a ribbon or what have you, she was just grappling her stomach like if she was about to go into labor, pushing in front of Harry, pushing in front of the Queen even. And they have all that footage of that. They were like, how about we let her sit that out? Because maybe people are going to get worried if she's going to go into labor, or maybe people are going to be like annoyed by it. So let's just send maybe Princess Anne to do her triple curtsy or thing that she does.
Nice to see you again.
How are you? Very nice to see you again. How are you doing?
Very nice to see you.
You sat next to each other, did you?
Yes.
Birthday.
Let's send Princess Anne to Princess Royal. Like, let's send her. You know who actually was hounded though? Is Catherine. Catherine was hounded. I don't know if you guys remember when William and her broke up, she was seriously hounded down.
This is Kate on her 25th birthday, just trying to leave her home and go to work.
And the amount of photographers, photogs, cameras, click, 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 that was Catherine.
William and Kate have complained about the aggressive behaviour of the paparazzi. The pair are hassled in scenes reminiscent of the way the royals have been treated in the past. The couple say they've been chased before by paps on motorcycles and on foot.
And she's still alive and thriving. And even started a YouTube channel. As you know, they started a YouTube channel. And that to me is really relatable because, like, that's so cool. They're on the same platform as me. They are getting views. You know, more, I mean, they're getting a few more views than me. Do you know what I mean? They're literally my colleagues at the moment. But anyhow, she's the last person that was hounded like that. Let's get real.
Wondering whether my wife is going to end up like my mother and I'm going to have to look after him myself.
How the hell is she going to end up like your mother? And you're going to have to look after the son yourself? But that's so nonsense. That's so ignorance. Have you done anything yourself? I heard they ironed your uniforms in the army. Did you? The ignorance of it. What is this?
You know, so many of us, probably 99.9% of us,
Don't talk figures.
are carrying around some form of unresolved grief, trauma, or loss, unless we are able to do the very human thing, which is processing grief, processing trauma, and processing loss. And part of that is through conversation with friends, with strangers, with therapists, going for a walk, whatever it is. There are so many things that are good for us, and there are things that are bad for us.
Yeah, there are so many things that are good for you, and you're absolutely right. And I'm really glad you're talking about processing emotions and grief and so on. But why are you putting it out here? And why are you at the same time throwing your family under the bus? Because it's one thing to say, I'm processing, I'm healing, I'm doing that, and I'm doing this, and I'm manifesting, which is all that woke speak. But why are you actually embarrassing your family? That's what I want to know. Just
as much as that diet of what we put into our bellies, it's the same with the diet that we put into our brains, what we read, what we consume.
The diet that you put into your belly? I mean, what the hell? Okay, that's really fine, but can you explain your wickedness, though? Can you explain that part to us? But now we all know it's about the money, it's about the deals. They keep coming up and up, they're gonna pop up and up more again. But imagine like an intern that's in an office somewhere, like a news office somewhere, who's just trying to get a moment, and like their assignment is Meghan and Harry. Just imagine. Dude, have you seen these videos on TikTok of these monkeys being bathed? No! Like, it's so chill. It's so relaxing. Watch me dissolve slowly. Just bathing them, just rubbing their heads. I'm so relaxed right now. Oh shit. What? Oh my god.
What's all the hubbub?
No, it's just another Meghan and Harry thing. revealing a plan to open a relief center in COVID-ravaged India. Oh, on their 3rd wedding anniversary.
What?
Jeez, what? Again? All right, let me just type this out real quick. I'll talk to you in a second. So apparently they're building a relief center in India in honor of their 3rd wedding anniversary, which it's like, if it's not about Archie's birthday, if it's not about them, it's in honor of their 3rd wedding anniversary this time, and also in honor of their accountant. And I don't think they said this, but they should have. There might be an article on this, but it's definitely in honor of their accountant, who has told them that the taxes on 15 million, Spotify and Netflix, and 10 million and 5 million and a billion and whatever is quite a significant amount of tax, and there might be a purpose to do something like this, like a tax purpose. So there's another article. I don't know if Hello Magazine is owned by America at this point. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry talking about their neighbor Rob Lowe shares fresh details of their Montecito move. And all he's saying is that the Oprah interview, the original Oprah interview, was not filmed at his house, and he believes it was filmed at Oprah herself's house. What date was this? This is May 24th. So like, he has no idea what's been going on, because we all know it was at Gayle King's house it was filmed, Rob Lowe. So maybe he's confused about who lives where in his neighborhood. But it doesn't matter. Rob Lowe is a has-been, and ain't nobody care. So Hello, again, I don't know why it's printing these things. I don't know if it's owned by Montecito Homeowners Association or what, why they keep feeding into Meghan and Harry's life there. I still don't get how a regular schmegler girl from California, half-caste like myself, with a messed up grill and a bad nose job, unlike myself, has the gall to think that it's all about her. Like, I just don't see that. Like, I'm struggling to understand this narcissistic personality type disorder. Like, it really is confusing to me. Like, at which point does your truth become, I'm the only important thing in the entire world? Like, it's all about me. Okay? At which point does that become your truth? Because even Princess Diana, like, she did not want to embarrass herself or embarrass the royal family. And this comes from Lizzy, my friend, who sent me a picture of this note, which says, I so want the monarchy to survive and realize the changes that it will take to put the show on a new and healthy track. Diana, Princess of Wales. So shout out to Lizzy and her family. Thank you so much. And this is where we go into Martin Bashir and the deceit that made her do the interview that she had no idea about and still has no idea about, which I think is the saddest part. And it actually makes me feel a bit queasy that she still would never know today that this is what happened to her. So what happened to you, Oprah? At least you're here to know. You know, when you think about it, at least you're here to know what happened to you. Some people have to go to their grave and don't even know what happened to them. And they can't capitalize on it either. How about that? Let's go into another person's lies, which is Martin Bashir. All right, so let's talk first about Bashir's bank statements. That seems to be the biggest draw that he had. So he had this graphic designer called Mark Wiesler, Photoshop or whatever it was called back in that time, these bank statements to prove that people were being paid in her close circle to spy on her and talk about her. And so, as with anyone, you would get paranoid about that. And he presented them first to Earl Spencer, her brother. And it seems like within a few days, he produced more and more bank statements, because I guess the first set didn't really make Earl Spencer bite. So he produced more. So Mark Wiesler is the graphic artist, the graphic designer. And he's here like all sad and stuff, talking about how his life had to change and he had to change career. Actually working for the BBC, so Martin Bashir didn't have as much pull in convincing him, but he did do contract work with them, which I guess was his bread and butter or something, because he still agreed to do.
When I produced the 2 bank statements. Martin's
a slight flex. He was like, I didn't even have my big machines. You know, I'm that good. But he said he questioned the bank he said that he had seen before working with the BBC was the National Westminster.
He said, no, that'll do. It's fine, it's right.
So that was what his question was, like, oh, it's the same bank, Martin. I don't know if it's the same bank. So Martin Bashir said he had seen these statements and he just wanted Mark Wiesler to mock up something similar for him. And your only question was, I feel like I've seen this bank before. I've seen a lot of bank names before. Like, what do you mean? Is that your question? I mean, I feel like your question should be like, why do I have to do this in the middle of the night at my house? Why do I have to mock up something that you had seen? If you'd seen it, can you not obtain it yourself? Why am I committing a federal crime? Why was that not your question? Mark Wiesler, you're a weasel. You're a piece of shit. Seriously. Because like I even in one of my last videos or whatever, when I was talking about Barbados and people asking me to mock up or somehow produce, I don't know, I didn't get too far into the conversation. I just said, I waited, you have to wait too for your results, for the tests. My alarm bells immediately went off. These people are crooked, they want me to do something crooked, and I'm gonna go to prison, and they don't actually care. So, I mean, Mark Wiesler, Mark Wiesel, at which point were you not like, oh, I'm going to be in a problem? It wasn't until the Inquisition that he thought, okay, I might be the fall guy for this. That should have happened that night in your house in the darkness of the night where you were sitting there. I don't care how good you are at photoshopping, even if it takes you 2 seconds, you would have been like, wait a minute, I'm making a pretend bank statement. Like a bank, like a national bank, according to the name. Like, this can't be right. But in the Lord Dyson review, it said that Wiesel was never criticized for accepting the commission. So there was a cover-up by the BBC. They thought Martin Bashir was very important for whatever reason at the time, and they did not want to throw him under the bus at the time. But he cheated. He cheated his way to the top in his job, just like one crooked person would cheat. I don't know that one. Alexa, what? Alexa, off. You don't know that one. You don't know that one, Alexa. You don't know that cheating one. Anyway, just like people cheat on exams, he cheated his way to the top in his career, and he was motivated by ambition. So Wiesel was just a tool that he used to get the interview. It's nuts that he lied to this woman, changed her life. It's almost like she didn't have as much worth. Like, and I don't know if this is something that is cultural, but it's like this Princess Diana, HRH at the time, did not have as much value as his career and his ambition had to him. And that is what I can't get over. That he infiltrated because her life was not as important as his life. This woman who gave herself to public service, and I don't care what anyone wants to say about Princess Diana, because she was genuine about public service and helping less fortunate people. What I found also upsetting was that the 1996 investigation, they never interviewed Earl Spencer, her brother. So they never got to find out, or didn't care to find out, what motivated him to ask his sister to do the interview. And that's very important, because why the fuck didn't they interview him? I feel like, yeah, so there was a lot of cover-up, basically. And of course, there's this note that she wrote saying that she wasn't under duress and all of that. That's not under question. Nobody's disputing whether that she wrote it or not, but the preface was that she was tricked. You know what I mean? He might have said, write that so that you don't fall back from them and all of that there. And of course, or because I don't want anyone to know that I've obtained these statements, because it's illegal to obtain somebody else's bank statements, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just thinking like what he could have told her to write that note, because clearly that note is not a very natural, it doesn't sound very natural to me how it's written here. I just know that they have in prison like they do have like sick bays in prison, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me, but they have places that they can send people who are sick in prison, right? They have doctors that attend to prisoners and so on. So why isn't Martin Bashir in prison? Because at the end of the day, he's claiming that he's sick, and they don't seem to be pursuing him as hard as they should, because he's sick from complications from the pandemic virus that is. And, you know, because we can't say certain words on YouTube, just so you know why I keep like skirting around the C word. But yeah, these people should be in prison. When it might take 10 years to solve a case. It might take 20 years to solve a case, but once it's solved, people need to pay the penalty. So let's let that happen, please. Also, you have to remember, just to know where Diana's head is, or was, she was cautious. She was paranoid. And even Lady Colin Campbell, who is on this platform as well, much respect to her as an author, but they had some kind of situation between Lady Colin Campbell and Princess Diana where she allegedly was going to write her biography, and then Princess Diana withdrew that permission for her to write the biography, the official one, with Princess Diana's approval. Sorry, I'm just a bit all over the place. I'm just, because I love Lady Colin Campbell, so I'm just trying to make it like, so you understand. But she had to take that L, Lady Colin Campbell, because Diana changed her mind. And it's because she was very paranoid and very cautious. So for her to go into this interview and say what she said in the interview, which led to her divorce, which led to her losing her title, which I think that was messed up. I think that she could have kept her title for all the years that she served. Her divorce lawyers should have really been better and got her to keep that title. And then she would have had the security that she wouldn't have this random drunken Parisian man driving her. And so I see the connection there. I know that her brother is really forcing the issue, like this is exactly what caused her death. I don't know. Tell me how you guys feel about it. I'm trying to connect the dots, and I'm trying to see him. You let me know, because I don't even know how to finish the sentence at this point. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was definitely led to her death, and so Earl Spencer was correct in making that connection, or do you think that it has nothing to do with it at all? Either way, I definitely blame Martin Bashir for his unprofessionalism, his deceitful character, and just being a horrible, abhorrent individual with very long eyelashes. At the end of the day, he apologized for faking the bank statements in Lord Dyson's report, but he didn't explain or admit much more. But what struck me most is when he apologized to William and Harry, saying he meant no harm to their mother. He invoked his own family, saying, "My family, and I loved her." That makes him even grosser. That makes him even worse to me. So in response to his apology and so on, Harry's response, of course, was all about his wokeness and his word salad and his stance. And he talks about truth and all that crap again, and I'm just not even going to quote it. William's response was very strong.
I'd like to thank Lord Dyson and his team for the report. It is welcome that the BBC accepts Lord Dyson's findings in full, which are extremely concerning. That BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia, displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints and concerns about the programme, and were evasive in their reporting to the media and covered up what they knew from their internal investigation. It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said. The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others. It brings indescribable sadness to know that the BBC's failures contributed significantly to her fear, paranoia and isolation that I remember from those final years with her. But what saddens me most is that if the BBC had properly investigated the complaints and concerns first raised in 1995, my mother would have known that she had been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions. It is my firm view that this panorama programme holds no legitimacy and should never be aired again. it effectively established a false narrative which for over a quarter of a century has been commercialised by the BBC and others. This settled narrative now needs to be addressed by the BBC and anyone else who has written or intends to write about these events. In an era of fake news, public service broadcasting and a free press have never been more important. These failings, identified by investigative journalists, not only let my mother down and my family down, they let the public down too.
And of course we have all this wonderful footage of William in Scotland talking to some lovely older people, and you can see that he has a lot on his head right now, and to see him so graceful and loving towards these people and trying his best to enjoy himself. Those are the images I want you to be left with today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please give a thumbs up and a like, and let me know in the comments everything you're thinking. I'm sorry if I was a bit harsh today. I have been going through my own healing, because if you remember, originally I was so happy about this couple, and I'm uncovering the details along with you, and you're helping me to feel my truth about them, you know. Thank you so much, and lots of love to you, and more videos coming up. Lots of love. Bye.